There you go. The range of topics were all relevant for getting our future leaders of Rotary better equipped for their journey next year. Mike Curry, do you have some things you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would just echo what you said, Catherine. It was, over the last 40 years, I've had an opportunity to attend a lot of different workshops and conventions, and the Great Lakes Pets was extremely well organized. Everything ran on schedule. The speakers were incredible. The opportunity to have, RI President-elect Gordon McAnally at the session and make a presentation to the group isn't going to happen at individual pets. The sessions were great. There was an opportunity for individual districts to deal with their own issues in separate breakout sessions. There were like 426 delegates there. And my experience has been, the sessions were excellent, but even if the sessions aren't excellent, that opportunity to meet with people from different districts, to network, to learn about what they're doing in their districts is invaluable. One of the highlights, I think, of the whole thing was when Michael invited all of the delegates that were there that were under 45 to come up on stage, and they actually filled the stage. And I know that we're all concerned about attracting new members. We're all concerned about the fact that we have aging clubs. And I just think that this was really, really engaged, and obviously was something that a younger audience was really looking forward to. And I think it's an opportunity for us to re-engage our clubs and to rebuild our district. So I just ask you to give it real consideration. So it was a wonderful opportunity. Not only that, but we also had the opportunity to meet with people that, like, there were representatives there from Shelter Box and from different projects around the world that you would not get at an individual local pets. That's all I'll say. I think we should pass it off to Michael and Jim because they're the experts.
Great. So Jim Gilmore is the chair of the Great Lakes Pets, and Michael Angelo Caruso is the lead trainer. So please, guys, take it away.
Great. Thank you, Catherine. I'm going to give you just a bunch of facts and figures about Great Lakes Rotary Pets. Michael is going to talk to you about benefits and observations that he's seen, because he's got experience not only with Great Lakes Rotary Pets, but also with pets all over the world that he's attended and spoken at. The Great Lakes Rotary Pets was incorporated in 2008. It encompasses 6 districts. 5 of those districts take up the entire state of Michigan, with the exception of the little carve out that 6330 has over in Scott's area. We're governed by bylaws. We have a committee of 7 executives and 5 representatives from each of our 6 districts. So that's the governing body for pets. We represent roughly 300 clubs and between 9,000 and 10,000 Rotarians. The 6th district, by the way, is Northern Indiana. It covers a good part of the state down to just the counties north of Indianapolis. We hold an annual seminar that qualifies for President-elect training. Next year will be March 14 through 16. We do all this that you've heard about from Mike and from Catherine in 2 days, from roughly 3 p.m. Thursday until 2 p.m. Saturday. We do it in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where we've been since at least 2014. We have a 6-year contract that we signed in 2021. It'll run through 2026. We're proud of the partnership that we have with the hotel. We have CPI numbers that are tied into our increases for food and hotels, which is a fair deal. But let me tell you really about the partnership. In 2020, when we had to close our event at noon on Friday because the governor issued an edict that no more than 250 gatherings in one place, and we had 350 registered for dinner. We had to close down at noon. The Radisson returned 100% of all of our unused room fees and food fees. In talking to our compatriots around the country, that was a rarity. But the reason is because it's a partnership, and we're pretty proud of that. The Radisson loves Rotarians. They go out of the way, and Catherine will tell you that, you know, they had logos on the floor and on the elevator, and it's just an entire great Rotary weekend. It's really four segments, four parts to Great Lakes Rotary Pets. The main stage, which is the speakers, inspirational speakers, generally, and I'd say generally because I don't want to make a commitment for these people 2 years ahead of time, but it's been a long time since we did not have the Rotary International President-elect speak live at our conference. We're very convenient in that they could drive or fly from Evanston to Kalamazoo, and that can be the first off point. But we usually have them on Thursday night to open up, and that's a great opportunity. We have what's called Great Lakes Rotary Pets Forums, and that's facilitated learning on relevant topics in membership, foundation, and public image. We have district sessions, which the districts then can work out a lot of their own geographical issues, take the opportunity to have clubs get together and talk about collaboration and hit some topics that are really drill down topics that we don't hit in the pets forums. The fourth part, and probably the biggest part, is networking. It's interesting because we live and die by our surveys. And after 2021 Mega Pets, where we had two multi-district pets get together and do it all virtually, 2/3 of those people had never been to a live pets before. And at the end, 2/3 of the people that responded to the survey said they preferred live to virtual. And the difference was the networking. So much goes on in line to eat, in line for the bar, that kind of thing. So the other thing about Mega Pets and Live Pets is we had no drop off of number of PEs from live to Mega to back to live. Everybody would have anticipated that, gee, if it's so much easier that we can do it virtually online and don't have to drive all the way to Kalamazoo and spend 2 nights in a hotel, we're going to get bigger attendance. We did not. And most districts could have told us the same. Clubs that didn't show up for virtual pets, that didn't show up for live either. So that's kind of where we are. We have an 80%, what we call a hit rate of presidents-elect. So of the total number of presidents-elect in the 6 districts, we have 80% of them attend. We now started a new program for president nominees that's specific to the issues that they face in getting prepared to be a president-elect. We're real proud of that. Chris Etienne, an incoming director, put together that for us, and it was a great outline, and we're going to build on that next year. Last thing, we are a member of what's called a multi-district pets alliance. There are 25 other organizations like Great Lakes Rotary Pets from all over the U.S. and Canada. We're part of this alliance. We meet once a year in Evanston, but we share information all throughout the year with other multi-district pets, and that allows us to continue to improve, steal ideas, which is the Rotary way, and go from there. So that's enough. I think I kept it in my time. Michael Caruso is our lead trainer, which he's got the responsibility for curriculum and main stage. So he oversees all of the training aspects of the conference. So Michael, go.
Thank you, Jim. For those of you that are just tuning in, you may, and after hearing Jim's nice presentation, you may feel that we're trying to convince you to hitch your wagon to ours. We are not. We are inviting you. We know you have a terrific option right now in online and your solo training, meaning as an individual district. And we have no idea how that's working for you. We just think that this would be a beneficial consideration for you. Some of you know that we are now past what the internet used to call the information age. It was when the internet was invented and a lot of people had access to the same information. We're now in what's called the experiential age. And so marketers and meeting planners and people that are trying to organize teams are focused on making sure that people get a great experience. And that is something that this multi-district PETS offers, an experience unlike no others. What we hope after our presentation today is that you would consider the value proposition. And we know you have some numbers to get together and you have to organize your thoughts and have some sort of consensus. We totally get that. The live event, of course, as an experience, offers things that you can't get any other way. Jim had mentioned the things that happen in the hallways, in the elevators, at meals, at the bars, and just the talent and the personality that attends this event is unbelievable. If you've been a governor and you had a chance to attend International Assembly, Tanya, you see Rotary in a way that you could never see it. If you're a president-elect and you attend a multi-district PETS, you're going to see Rotary in a way that you could never see it on any other level. It's just undeniable. So we want you to know that this is not going to be easy for us if you say yes. Everything about what we do is predicated on 6. It has been for decades. 6 districts means 6 general sessions, 6 keynote speakers, and the entire weekend revolves around this 6. And we have not figured out how to do it with 7 yet, because none of us are that good at math. But we are committed to trying to figure that out and doing our best to make you feel welcome should you decide that this was in your best interest as a district. Because we have so much work to do, we are hoping that you could let us know by May 1st. This is a chance for all of you to meet with your clubs. You could even have a board of directors meeting in the month of April to talk about it if that's important to you, and then reconvene as a group to give us some sort of an indicator about what you decide. It's okay with us if not all of your clubs presidents decide to attend. We realize that some of you can just pop over the border and go to another PETS that's closer. We know that some of you may like the online option, and you may even decide to keep the online option. You may decide to do all of the above. But we wanted you to know how we felt about you and how we are committed to treating you very, very well should you come to this event. Just like we are completely dedicated to the 6 districts that currently enjoy our event and indicated so on the evaluations. We have a couple of extra minutes here to answer any questions that you might have. And I've posted my contact information in chat if I can help you with this in the decision-making process or answer more questions moving forward. Do any of you have any questions right now that Jim and I can answer for you? You can just start talking.
Tanya's got her hand up. Go ahead, Tanya.
Yes, hi there. Not so much a question, because those questions have been answered for me. I had the awesome opportunity of actually attending multi-district PETS when I became president of the Rotary Club of Sarnia. That was 19 years ago, that multi-district PETS was. For some reason, I couldn't attend my own. I must have been off traveling somewhere on some Rotary sojourn. However, the people I met, everything you have all said were so true for myself. The people that I met, I have since done projects with, I have traveled on Rotary business with, and I myself have been to 14 different Rotary conventions, and this particular event certainly does stand out amongst them. And whatever we can do in our district to help get our presidents to that multi-district PETS, I would certainly endorse and do whatever I can to help.
Great.
Excellent.
Thanks,
Thank you. Peter? Oh, sorry, Sonia.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry. Peter Mirage from Stratford. I'm on a train right now, actually coming back from Toronto, so it's a bit weird. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is coming through okay. Yeah. I'm wearing glasses because I actually have an eye infection. Don't want to scare anyone. So I look like a rock star, but it's actually an eye infection. Anyway, so my only point on this one is It's funny, when Sonia brought this forward, I thought it was excellent that we're going alone, but I thought, this is really weird. Why are we doing this alone? Why are we not doing this as a group? Why are we not doing this as a larger event? You're going to probably hear, we're coming to Kitchener now, you probably hear some chatter. But my question is, I was at RI in Toronto. I'm going to Australia, Melbourne, to the conference because, to be honest with you, yes. Is it convenient for Zoom? Yes. Is it the same in terms of in person? Absolutely not. I don't know what the cost is, but I can't imagine it's terribly expensive. And I think we are really, there you go, sorry about that. You get it French and English, by the way, for those in Michigan. But anyway, I really, really miss these in-person events, and I really wish we could get back at them. I'll bring this forward to our board at the next meeting, but I really think that for the president-elects going forward, this would be great to go to Kalamazoo. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, very much. You came across loud and clear. The dues for presidents-elect and president's nominee that want to attend will be $275 per person. But of course, you have to also figure in other costs, such as getting there and hotel costs. I know there's been talk about doing what Joseph Campbell calls the hero's journey, where you might get a bus and come down that way. I also realize that not everybody's coming from the same place. So these are some logistical questions that you all have to deliberate on and see if you can come up with a workable solution.
Catherine, I believe Bob Thomas has a question.
Yes, Bob, go ahead.
Bob Thomas from Lapeer. I probably have a rather unique perspective. I was district governor and I ran pets in 2002. I was the governor in 2002. Presentations were made then. The district leadership team at the time chose not to. I believe there is a similar organization in Canada based in Toronto. This is basically a Canadian district. I mean, I'm in the US, so Kalamazoo is a hop, skip, and a jump for me. But I think the intimacy of a single district pets is quite something. That's just my take. But the real issue is it's Catherine's call for next year. It's Mike's call for the following year.
That is
Jim,
very true, Bob. Yep.
Jim, would you like to speak to the commitment in terms of bylaws and expectations?
Yeah, our 6 districts that are members have a 2-year out clause. That means if they want to get out of Great Lakes Rotary Pets, they need to give us 2 years notice in order to do that. The come in is the same 2 years. And so what we've worked out with our executive committee is a 2-year tentative membership for District 6330 should they want to come in, which means for 2 years, you would be members, but non-voting members. At the end of those 2 years, July 1 of 2025, you would need to make a decision as to whether you wanted to be one of the 7 and be, I guess, what you call permanent members. So who knows how permanent anything is anymore.
So the lucky 7 too.
Yeah, regular members.
Let's take one more question from Diane, and then we'll turn it back to Sonia. You guys have some thinking to do, and of course, we're available if you want to talk or chat again. Hi, Diane.
Hi. I don't really have a question, but I do have a comment. I've been to Great Lakes Pets. I've been to single pets. I've been to other district pets as trainers and as just needing to be trained. So the level of enthusiasm and the breadth of what Rotary is just phenomenal when you're in a larger group. I I walk away from, and we've had some good sessions here, but I walk away from these sessions not chatting about Rotary, but when I walked away from a weekend with pets at Kalamazoo, the chatter for the whole ride home was about what we got, what we want to do, what's next. And it launches you instead of just trains you.
Thank you, Diane. Sonia, we promised a short presentation today. We are at our time limit. If it's okay with you, we'll excuse ourselves so that you guys can get back to your program. And Catherine and Mike, maybe you can let us know at the end of the month what direction you guys want to go in. There'll be no hard feelings, of course. It's just an invitation. We think that it would be beneficial to all concerned, and we certainly hope that the answer is in the affirmative.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jim.
Thanks, guys.
So if I can
Bye.
just, a couple of really quick comments. One is on the one, I think it was a Saturday morning, the gentleman that sat beside me was from a Rotary Club in Wawa. And I just thought, here's a guy that has driven probably far further than anybody within our district to get to Great Lake Pets, and had to cross an international border at Sault Ste. Marie. So, you know what? There's some effort to get there. I think the two concerns of lots of people will be the cost of it and will be the distance that we have to travel. But I think we have to look at it as an investment in not only our clubs, but an investment in our district, and a way to, I think, honestly, we revitalize our clubs in our district. And I'll just leave it at that.
Thanks, Mike. Last words, Catherine?
Or if I can, please. So I can tell you that next year, our President-elect learning will take place in person. What I'm hoping for is some feedback to help me make the decision about where and how that will happen. So if you can have a conversation with your boards, your President-elect nominee, people in your club, get some feedback. I would really love it if you could share that with me so that I could help me make my decision. That would be great. Again, by May 1st is when we would like to be able to give an answer to the Great Lakes Pets folks. So maybe Sonia, if you could include my contact info on the follow-up email, as well as the website, which is greatlakesrotarypets.org. If anyone wants to go online and get some more information about Great Lakes Pets, that would be great. So thanks so much.
Thank you, Catherine. So our next presenter this evening is Kirk Langford, and Kirk is well known to many of you, and he's a member of the Rotary Club of Stratford. He's been the district lead for public image for several years. He's also been one of the leads for the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards program. But I understand that next year, Kirk is moving on to taking over the chair of the Rotary Youth Exchange programs, which is absolutely awesome. And I will turn it over to you now, Kirk.
Awesome. Thank you, Sonia. Can everybody hear me okay? Thumbs up if you can hear me all right. All right, perfect. All right, well, I'm going to do the traditional share my screen because, you don't want to stare at my mug all night. So I'll share my screen here so you can all see me or see the screen. Diane presented me with quite the challenge because now she said, I can't just train you, I have to launch you. So I've really got my work cut out for me tonight. So I'm going to help that, that I can achieve that. So I'm going to do my best. Diane, you let me know at the end how I do. All right. Sound good? All right, perfect. All right. So Sonia asked me to speak to you folks a little bit about public image. And so what I came up with, what I thought about as I reflected on, what to share with you, what to talk about, what not to talk about, because there's a lot of directions you can go in when it comes to public image. I decided to take this angle, 5 resources to boost your club's public image and help keep you sane as president. So first, let's talk a little bit about some introductions. When we do a big thing like this, you're all just faces on a screen. And of course, I know some of you, but others I don't. So first, we got to figure out who you folks are. So I did that traditional start the presentation with the dictionary definition. And so I checked out the definition of, who the heck are you folks? Well, you're Rotary Club presidents. And when I looked in the dictionary and the thesaurus that I had online, I found some pretty awesome words. So it's a noun, just in case you were wondering. A Rotary Club president is a noun. It's a thing. It's a fearless leader, a master getter-doner, an omniscient sage, a question answerer, problem solver, and Atlas of the club. And so by Atlas of the club, we're talking about Atlas from Greek mythology. So you may remember from your grade 9 Greek mythology lessons in English class at Greek, Atlas was the man who held the world up on his shoulders, right? And in the same way, that's your job as club president, right? You hold the entire club for that year. It's all on you. You answer every question. You solve every problem. You basically just keep the club going for that year. And then what happens at the end of the year? You finally get to shrug off the club to the next president and you go running for the hills and you say, okay, I'll do my year as past president, and then I'm not going to make that same stupid mistake again. I am out of here. That's it. And we see the cycle go on and on Rotary, right? So as you can imagine, as you can see here, pretty overwhelming, right? I was club president of my club for a couple of years, actually, because we had some turnover issues. And so I ended up being president for a little while. And it is overwhelming, right? You get a whole slew of emails from RI and from the district and from the zone. You didn't even know there was a zone. So why is the zone emailing me? What am I supposed to do with this? I don't know what RILE is. I don't know about Youth Exchange. My club doesn't want to do that. You become this sort of gatekeeper for your club and you have to decide kind of what happens and what doesn't happen. And like I said, you get to the end of your year and you are pretty darn worn out, right? So when I was presenting this presentation or preparing this presentation, I thought, what if I took it from a different angle? And one that isn't about, hey, as club president, here's the 99 public image things that you're responsible for. And instead talked about maybe some resources that I could provide you folks with and your clubs to help make your job a little bit easier. So that's what I've decided to do tonight. Instead of talking about, again, your list of things to do related to public image, we're going to talk about resources that can actually help with public image. All right. So I'm here providing a little bit of that weight support. So you're not doing it all on your own. All right. So what this really comes down to, though, is these resources, they're helpful, they're beneficial. But what I'm going to tell you is that they're best shared. Okay. They're best shared with the rest of your club. Do you folks remember Greg Schinkel? I think you heard from him last week. You may remember him, pretty animated guy. He is my boss. I work with Greg all the time. So, one thing he taught me when we do our leadership training, one thing we do in our sessions with our participants is we always say, your job as a leader is not to do all the work yourself. And you can stop me if he told you this. You can unmute yourself and go, heard it already, skip this one. But he always says, your job as a leader is not to do all the work yourself. Your job is not to get results. Your job is to get results through your people, through your team. And so if you feel like you're Atlas because you're lifting the whole club on your shoulders, you're not doing it right. You're not using your team to help you. Okay. Now I know I'm talking a little bit outside of public image, but this rolls into it. And so what I want you to think about as we go through tonight is not just, okay, another website I have to try to find time to check out and remember, and oh, now he wants me to do this. Instead, be thinking about who in my club can I get to help me with this? Maybe it's a public image coordinator. Maybe it's a public image committee. Maybe you don't have that much structure in your club, or maybe you don't have a big enough club to warrant a full, public image committee and subcommittees, but you just have a couple of people who maybe have asked about that before or have shown interest. So as we go through these things, I don't want you to keep popping it on your own shoulders. I want you to think about who in my club can I empower, can I share this responsibility with in order to make the public image a success, right? I often think about Rotary. One of the strange things I think about Rotary is that we have a one-year presidency. Imagine a business that basically changed CEOs once a year. Every year the boss was in and the next year the boss was out. You need more stability than that. The company would crumble, because you need more stability than that. And so in the same way, in order to make our Rotary clubs successful, the club can't ride on the shoulders of the president for the year, right? It's got to ride on a number of people. The club has to depend on everybody in the club to make it successful. All right. So when we're talking about public image, this doesn't all fall on you. I want you to think about who can help me with these things. Who are my best resources in the club in order to make sure this stuff gets done? All right. So thank you for that awesome introduction. Now I know who the heck you folks are, these amazing Atlases, but you're not going to have to do that much longer, but you still got these awesome talents and abilities. Now you're probably wondering, who the heck am I? You're like, this hotshot comes on the screen, not hot in that way, just, comes on the screen and starts yakking about social media and what to do and what not to do. Man, if he's talking about public image, he must be, I know, he's a social media influencer. And that's why they've got him in this role. Definitely not that. I would like to think my number of followers on any of my social media might constitute that I'm some sort of an influencer, but basically any kid under 20 will tell you that I'm nowhere near influencer status. So, okay. So public image, social media, I know. He's a digital marketing whiz, works in digital marketing. Unfortunately, that's also not the case. I am not a digital marketing whiz. Okay. Next, well, obviously, okay, no, I figured out he's, got this great graphic, got a beautiful presentation, it looks fantastic. He must be, he's a graphic designer. Kirk's a graphic designer, connected to social media, connected to online stuff. That's great. That's why he's so good at this stuff. Yeah. No, definitely not a graphic designer. Oh, okay. Well, he's the nerdier version of the graphic designer. He's kind of a real geek. He's obviously a website developer, and that's how this is all functioning. Unfortunately, I'm none of those things. So am I an imposter? Am I a fraudster? Well, you could say that. But why am I talking about what I'm not? Why am I going on about what I'm not as opposed to bragging about what I am to, show you my credentials and show you that I'm really here to educate you on public image? Well, here's the one thing that I am. And here's the reason that I'm in this position in the first place. I'm someone who is willing to learn. All right. When Jim Schlattman, who was the district governor a few years ago, approached me to take on this position, he said, "Hey, you're a young guy. You want to be the head of our public image committee?" And I said, "Well, let me tell you, me being young means nothing about my ability with public image. That might actually be a detriment because I don't know what's going on." But I said, "You know what? Sure. I'm willing to take on the challenge. Let's do it." So why is that relevant to this story, to this presentation? Well, here's why it's relevant. When it comes to public image and social media, if your hair is white, or if you don't have any hair, or maybe if it's graying, people like to use that as an automatic, "No, I'm too old for that. Nope, don't know what that is. Get that stuff away from me. I don't know the Instabook and the Face Jam and the Tiki-Talkie and my kids are all on there. I don't know. I can't figure it out." People get overwhelmed. They get scared. And the immediate thing they do is they back off. They go to the youngest member in their club and they go, "You're techie, want to run our website?" Right? Let me tell you something. There are lots of young people that like spending time on social media. I think we can all agree on that, right? But I can also tell you this. My sister's an accountant, but when I finally get her to join Rotary, the last thing she will want to do is be saddled with the treasurer position so she gets to do even more accounting outside of her job. And all too often, that's what we do in Rotary. We think public image equals social media, therefore equals get young people in the club to do it. And we just step away. We're scared. But I'm going to ask everybody to participate in a little survey. Now, I was hoping to bust out Mentimeter and impress you all. And you guys are going to be like, "Wow, that's so cool." But let me guess, did Greg use Mentimeter last week? Of course he did. He stole my thunder. So thanks, boss. That was awesome. So I'm not going to use Mentimeter. We're just going to do the good old fashioned show of hands. But I want you to put up your hand if you know how to FaceTime, so call with video, somebody on the phone. Put up your hand if you know how to do that. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now keep them up. Keep them up. Put up your hand if you knew how to do that 15 years ago. Keep your hand up if you knew how to do that 15 years ago. Oh, interesting. Okay. Okay. Hands down. Perfect. Put up your hand if you know what an emoji is and you know how to send one. If you know what an emoji is and you know how to send one, put up your hand. Okay. This is pretty impressive. Put your hand down. Keep your hand up. Sorry. If you knew what an emoji was 15 years ago. Okay. A lot of hands went down. Okay. What am I getting at here? Well, I think you folks can see what I'm getting at. It is so often in Rotary that we see older people say, "Oh, I don't know how to do any of that. I can't figure that out. It's too confusing. It's too frustrating." You are underestimating yourselves, because if you can figure out how to FaceTime your grandchildren or your son or daughter or whoever, you can figure out this stuff too. And I'm not also saying you have to become the social media expert in your club. But what I'm saying is you don't have to do the step back, keep yourself away, don't mess it up, don't break Facebook. You can dive in and really get involved and be an active part of your club's public image and your club's social media, not just in your president year, but overall. So I'm saying this to you as presidents-elect, but I'm also saying it to you as just Rotarians. All right. I see so much of, "I'm going to step away. I can't figure this stuff out." And I do not agree with that. I've seen time and again people that have figured this stuff out because they were willing to give it a try. And just like me, when I took on this position, I was willing to learn. I said, "I'm not going to be great at all of it, but I can start with what I do know and go from there." All right. So I really want to encourage that sort of that attitude of learning, that attitude of openness to try new things. Because I think also sometimes we forget that a big part of Rotary is learning. Whether it's we take over the treasurer position, we're going to find something that we didn't know, whether we take over this position, whether we come in as a president-elect, right? Probably who remembers, their first work conference or work seminar or work training? If you remember that, you probably remember that it was pretty awesome, or you learned a lot. Often what we find, we're in our 20s, we do that very first learning thing, and we're like, wow, oh my God, I have 30 pages of notes, so many great ideas. Then you get to 10 years down the road or 15 years down the road, you're still attending seminars and conferences and training sessions, but you start to notice that you don't have 30 pages of notes. You might have 1 page of notes, right? So as you do more training and more learning, each kind of little piece of training and all that maybe becomes a little bit less significant, a little bit less impactful, but there's still those little nuggets of wisdom that you go, that's really cool. I'm glad I learned that. And so it's the same thing with social media. You're not going to suddenly, learn everything overnight, and it's not going to be this epiphany of, oh my gosh, well, look what I've been missing. But as you explore and as you investigate and as you continue this, you're going to learn little tidbits and things that are not just going to help you in Rotary, but they could even help you elsewhere. All right. So don't think that just because you don't necessarily use Facebook all the time or Instagram or whatever, that it's suddenly not for you. It's completely irrelevant to anything in your life. You'd be surprised at really it's about a lot of transferable skills as well. Okay. So keep that kind of open mind, that learning mind as we go through this. All right. So let's keep pressing on. So like I said, I'm going to share 5 resources with you that I want you to take back to your club, but also use yourself to make your life a little bit easier and help your club's public image. And just before I do that, I'm going to just check the chat to see if there's any messages that I need to pay attention to, but I think we're okay. Okay, we're good. Okay, so what is tip number 1? First of all, I appreciate you indulging me for that little introduction. And now you're like, okay, get me to the tips. I've got my pad of paper ready. They're all saying, Susan's going, okay, I didn't sit here to tell you, talk about yourself forever. Please get into tip number 1. Susan, are you ready for tip number 1? Are you excited for tip number 1? She's ready. She's ready for it. Okay, here we go. Tip number 1 is this. Resource number 1 is not who the heck am I? I went the other way in the slides. It is the Rotary Brand Center. The Rotary Brand Center has been around for a couple of years now. It's a website. It used to be part of My Rotary. So you used to have to log in with your My Rotary username and password in order to access it. Now, they got so much feedback about how frustrating that was for some people that now you actually don't even need to log into My Rotary to do it. You do not have to have any sort of an account to access the Brand Center. So you may ask, well, why do I need the Brand Center? My club has a logo. I've got the file on my computer. What else could I possibly need? I can use Microsoft Word and I can create a beautiful piece of artwork, all good. Well, the Brand Center is fantastic because one thing Rotary tries to do kind of at a bigger level is get us to be consistent in our branding. Because when we're consistent in our branding is more powerful, right? Anybody that is in marketing or even that runs a company, that once you update your logo, you kind of want everywhere the logo is to be the updated logo. You don't want to be driving around your town going, oh crap, that's the old logo and that is the slogan we used to use and that's the color we don't use anymore. You want consistency. The great thing about the Brand Center is that it provides that consistency. So let me take maybe 2 minutes and show you the website. So I'm going to go over here to the actual page. I'm going to put in the chat. Okay, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pop some resources for you. And one of them is the website to the Brand Center. So if you'd like to kind of be clicking around as I'm talking about it, you're welcome to do that. Okay. So let me pop that in there now, and you'll have the link to the Brand Center. There you go. All right. So we're in the Brand Center. Everybody can still see my screen. Looks like I'm still sharing. That's great. So you can see the Brand Center. First and foremost, you can start by just kind of checking this bar here. Oh, you can't see my screen. Oh, well, I'm hiding it from you apparently. Apparently I didn't feel like sharing that one. Let me just do that then. How is that? Is that better? Now can you see my screen? There we go. Thank you. Okay. So first and foremost, you notice no login. You can go to My Rotary from here, but you don't have to log in. A bunch of stuff. You have Our Brand. Talks about the People of Action campaign that probably you've heard about. Okay. Talks about different ways to promote Rotary, different brand elements. Okay. A list of downloads, download different images, videos, and audio. And all of these are high quality visuals that you can use. All right. Download different Rotary logos and graphics. Download promo materials. You're starting to see there's a lot of stuff here. And it's a lot of stuff that often when we are creating different materials for our club, we might spend a lot of time online trying to find. And they've got a lot of it right here. We don't need to recreate the wheel. All right. And then we can also do templates. So you're thinking, I want my club's logo. I want it to look good. I want it to fit with the brand standards. Kirk was yelling at me about that. So I got to make sure it works. How do I do that? Right? Do I just go ahead and draw it myself? No, you can use the Brand Center. So for example, if you go here and click create logos, use our logo template to create a custom logo for all your communication materials. Okay, I click view. Okay, I'm a Rotary Club, so I click Rotary Club. All right. And it allows me to use this. Okay, I'm going to go create. And now I can just do, in just a couple seconds, my club's logo. So I've got to write in the number, of course. So I'm actually part of the Rotary Club of Strathroy, I realize. I think Sonia might have said Stratford, but I'm the less cool Strat. I'm the Strathroy. Sorry, Judy, but we both know we're the less cool Strat, don't we? We don't have a theater. All right. So we're going to put Rotary Club of Strathroy. Okay. I want it below the logo. I like that. Okay. I could pick the simplified logo if I want, but in this case, I want the full logo. That's cool. And I can change it to above the logo. So if I wanted to have Strathroy Rotary Club, instead, I could do that. I could have it above and below the logo. Okay. So some clubs tend to put their town or their city name first. You could do that. So I'm going to put Rotary Club. Oops, sorry, I did it the wrong way. Yeah. Strathroy Rotary Club. Okay. Now I'm ready to download it. I want to use this. Simply click download file. I download it. All right. It takes a second, of course. And then it's going to download into my downloads file. And then I have that file. I have it and I can use it for really whatever I want. In all of my promotional material, I'm going to drag it over to here. Hopefully you'll see this one. It'll let me. Oops. Oh, I'm in full screen. So it's not going to let me, but it downloaded this logo just like that. And now I have that to use kind of wherever I want. And that took me all of 2 minutes or so. So it's a pretty awesome tool. And again, you don't have to log in. You don't have to worry about a username and password. You just got to basically bookmark that link so you don't lose it, right? Lots of other great stuff here. Lots of materials for the People of Action campaign. Okay. Lots of areas for downloads, visuals, all sorts. You're thinking, well, I want to make sure it fits the brand standards. What do I need to know? It talks about different logos and graphics. It talks about images and videos, our colors, the Rotary fonts. So you can find a lot of really awesome information so that you, as the president, aren't trying to field questions from your team, from your club about what logo are we supposed to use? Where am I supposed to find that? Share this with your club and get everyone in your club to bookmark it. Okay. Susan, was that an okay number one? Thumbs up if that was all right for number one. Okay. It only gets better from here. So if you were kind of like on the fence about that, it's only getting better. All right. Diane, are we launching or are we still training? Give me an update.
Launching. But
Well,
I do have a
Yes.
question.
Yes, go ahead.
When you copied that, is that in a JPEG where you could like take it and deliver it to other people?
You can
to
send it to
print?
a graphic print company if they're printing menus for your fish fry. If you are getting a shirt created and you want the Rotary logo, that's exactly right. It downloads the file. You can send that file to whoever. Or of course, if you're making your own materials, you're making your club's agenda for a special meeting and you want to print it out, you can also use it for that. But you're exactly right. You can definitely send it off to other people to use. Okay. All right. So that was the first one. The Brand Center, amazing tool, really powerful. You're going to also notice as we go through this, I'm trying to use resources that don't recreate the wheel. I find a lot of times in Rotary, I feel bad for Rotary clubs because we spend a lot of time recreating things that already exist. And so I'm trying to show you resources that are already out there that you don't have to kind of start from scratch. All right. So tip number two, or rather resource number two. It's the Rotary Learning Center. Now, I know you know a little bit about it because I did hear Sonia mentioning the, President's-elect training you're supposed to be doing, or that I think you're working on. So that's exciting because there's a whole section for public image. Okay. There's a section for Club Public Image Committee. There's another whole section for District Public Image Committee. Obviously, the cool thing is that you don't have to actually be on the District Public Image Committee if you wanted to take that course. So you're welcome to kind of go above and beyond. There's currently 9 courses. If you search public image, all right, so 9 public image related courses. Some of them are just about your club public image basics. Some are about just building Rotary's public image. They have one about the logo specifically. So kind of a history of the logo, talks a little bit about, do's and don'ts with the logo and why it's important to represent it properly. And just some other fantastic stuff. Well, public relations in your club and the Rotary brand overall. Some really helpful courses in there. All right. I would recommend, again, share them with your club. For this one, all right, the link is even easier. The link is literally just rotary.org. Not rotary.org, rotary.org/learn. The one downside, I don't know if it's really a downside, but it is what it is. You do have to have a My Rotary account in order to access these courses. So if you haven't set that up, you'll need to do that. But again, something to share with your club. I'm not suggesting you have to go and take these 9 courses. Share this with your club so that when they come to you and have questions about public image, you're not having to be the Atlas carrying your whole club on your shoulders, answering every question. You can say, I don't know a lot about public image necessarily, but they have some fantastic courses online. They're completely free. They're in amazing bite-sized chunks. Another thing I can tell you about these courses, as a leadership training company that Greg and I work with, we are doing some e-learning right now. We do training all the time. And this is good training. This is not, someone sat at their computer on a Saturday night and said, I'm going to try to pop in a couple of courses and see what comes out. This is very well built training. It's actually quite impressive that a service organization has training this impressive. So I would highly recommend making use of that. All right. I know it can seem daunting because you're like, oh, there's 9 courses and this is saying, oh, it's 3 hours or this one's an hour and 15. One of the great things about their learning center as well is you can stop at any time, log in again and pick up where you left off. You do not have to do it all at once. It remembers your progress. Okay. All right. Number 3. Are we ready for number 3? Thumbs up if we're ready. Any questions about number 2? All right. Fantastic. Number 3. The public image webinars. So I've been in this role since 2019, I think it was, maybe 2018, actually. I'm getting so old, I don't even remember. But anyway, I started throughout the time I've been doing this role, I've made a number of webinars on a number of different topics, things about social media, even things like, should our club even have an Instagram page? What are the pros and cons? How do we use Facebook pages? How do we increase our club's curb appeal? Lots of different social media and public image related ideas and topics. And those are all uploaded on our district's YouTube page. They're all there. You can go and watch them at any time. The huge benefit that any of my family would agree with you about these being on YouTube is that if you attended live, you couldn't fast forward me. You had to watch me in regular 1 speed. But when you're watching me on YouTube after the fact, you can watch me at like 1.5 speed to get through a little bit faster and still get all of those great ideas and information that are in the webinar. All right. So all of those are there. I'm going to send you the link for this one. I think this is a really helpful one for people because they're kind of going, I have questions about this. The great thing about these webinars is I also include, the Q&A that we had, and the Q&A was with other presidents-elect. It was with other, public image chairs in clubs. So they had a lot of questions that are probably a lot of questions that you folks might have. One of our really popular ones was hashtag sharing and commenting. Oh my. And it was kind of answering some of those questions about, I hear about hashtags or I hear about different, but I don't know what it really means. So it was us trying to make sense of some of what can often be confusing social media mumbo jumbo. Now it's from 2019, but I can tell you all of the content in there, well, for the most part, is still very relevant, right? Thankfully, social media moves fast, but not so fast that a webinar is, out of date within a year. So the content on there is still really helpful, still up to date. And so there's a whole playlist, again, within that channel called Public Image Pointers. You can go through and watch those, pick the ones you want, and again, share them with the members of your club. So if you have someone in your club that's going, hey, we don't have an Instagram account. I hear about other clubs that have Instagram accounts. Why don't we have an Instagram account? If you're looking around to the club and no one can come up with an answer to that question, you might think, well, who do we go to get an answer? Well, we did a full webinar on, should my club have an Instagram account? What is Instagram? What are the benefits of having it? Is it worth investing time and energy into it, given our club's demographic? All right. So you get a chance to kind of ask some of those questions and get answers to some of that. All right. Sound good? Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Buzz along. Judy, good so far. Judy has to hear me at like every club meeting. So she'll tell me when she's like, okay, Kirk, Shepherd Hook is coming out. That's enough. All right. She's my check person. All right. Okay. So on to number 4, your public image committee. I remember at PETS last year or PELA last year, I said, you know what? Ask me to come speak to your club. I would love to come speak to your club about public image, love to help solve your public image woes. Give me ideas for different webinars you'd like me to do. How many clubs do you think I've visited in this past Rotary year to talk about public image? Go ahead and unmute yourself and take a guess or pop it in the chat. I'm going to ask for 3 guesses.
0.
Okay, well, a little more optimistic than that, Bob. We can be a little bit more optimistic than that.
I was going to say 3 minus 3.
3 minus 3. Still pretty pessimistic. And when we get the final result,
2.
Yeah, it's about 2. It's about 2 clubs in the past year that have asked me to come to speak to their club in some capacity or help them with something. I have 1 club that's really great for going, hey, we're getting, this thing printed for our festival, and we want to make sure that it's kind of in line with Rotary's brand standards. But other than that, honestly, I think a lot of our district level committees, whether it's membership, public image foundation, I think we're really underutilized. And so I implore you, reach out to me. I would love to present to your club. I would love to work with your club, answer questions, help your club kind of figure out public image. I think especially when it comes to social media, I get that even though I'm sitting here saying, empower your club and use these resources.
How do we find you?
I'm going to have my contact info at the end. And I'm also going to put it in the chat. All right. But good question. I know that it can be overwhelming. And so sometimes you're going, yeah, you gave me these webinars and you gave me this really great, you gave us this really great links to all these things. But sometimes I'd like to just hop on the phone and maybe walk through something. I'm happy to do that. All right. And one of the other things I'm doing is building a committee so that it's not just a committee of one, because we all know that that does not usually lead to good things and isn't sustainable. So building a committee is a big part of what I'm trying to work with so that you'll have even more resources of people you can talk to and work with when you have social media or public image questions or concerns. All right. So I really implore you, make use of the committee, make use of me. I'm happy to talk about this stuff and happy to just help you. It's not always even about coming to your club to do a presentation. Sometimes it's just, hey, Kirk, I know during PALA, you told me that there was a YouTube channel. I can't find it anymore. Can you find it for me again and shoot me the link? I'm happy to do that. Because we know that, again, as president, you've got a lot on your shoulders for the year. Okay. We're already on to number 5. So the 5th resource I want to share with you folks, okay, to dive into this, is actually the communication guide that Sonia provided a link to, or Sonia and Mike and Catherine provided a link to when they sent you your PALA workbook. Okay, so I had asked Sonia to give me the link to that workbook because I wanted to check it out and make sure that my stuff was in line with what you folks were going to be talking about. And I was really impressed when she sent me this communication guide. It was actually something I wasn't aware of yet, which is probably not great as the district public chair or public image chair, but I found this guide and it's extremely helpful. It's only 6 pages, so it's actually not very big. But what's really great about it is that it provides some really great tips and advice, some really simple, good stuff on how to increase your club's public image. So I want to give you an example. On the 3rd page, it's got 6 tips for more powerful communications. And it says, consider your audience, be inclusive, be specific, avoid acronyms and abbreviations, include a call to action, and demonstrate your impact. And I can tell you those 6 things, if every club even improved on 3 of those 6 things, our social media across the district would be off the charts if we picked 3 of those things. It still surprises me how often I'll see a club's post. They do an amazing post because they've handed out a bunch of Paul Harris fellows to their club. And, what does it say? The PE presented to the RIP, the PHFs for this year. Congratulations. Okay. And Glenda, who's a non-Rotarian, reads that post and goes, oh, I don't actually speak Rotarian, so I have no idea what this post just said. I don't know what an RIP is. I assume someone passed away in the club because that's when we use RIP in the rest of the world. And that's unfortunate, but I guess I'll just scroll past this post. Right? We can't connect to that. If there's too many abbreviations and too many Rotarianisms or Rotaryisms, we can't connect to that as a non-Rotarian. Right? Who is Paul Harris? What is this prestigious award? What's it all about? Right? Was it because I donated money? Was it because I'm an outstanding member of the club? Help me be part of the conversation. Help me be part of what's going on in your club. All right. So when Dagmar gets her Paul Harris Fellow, I can celebrate with her as her friend on Facebook instead of going, the PHF and the RPN DNG designate. Well, I wanted to connect. I have no idea what the heck that's about. And I thought it might offend someone. So I just left it alone. Right. We don't want to do that. And yet in our posts, that's what we see a lot of. So these 6 tips, in fact, if you were to pick 6 things you were going to work on in your social image, I would say or social media, I would say any of those 6 things from the communication guide are an amazing starting point. Okay. It also says include a call to action. A lot of times, Anne-Marie posts about her club's fish fry and it's just the menu and she takes all this time to create this post and it's the menu and she's excited about it and she posts, the fish fry's on Friday. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Do you, you want me to buy tickets? Oh, you're trying to sell me tickets. Well, you didn't ask me to buy tickets. I didn't know if you were bragging that you sold out. I didn't know if you were talking about how much money you were hoping to raise from it or how much you raised last week. I don't know, right? You got to have what's called a call to action. And the call to action is basically, what do you want me to do with this information? Now, Anne-Marie posts something else and she's like, well, Kirk, I just posted a picture from our meeting on Wednesday. It was a fun meeting and I just posted this fun picture. There is no call to action. I don't want to sell tickets and I'm not trying to raise money today. What do you mean a call to action? What do I put there? Well, when we go to Diane's club's Facebook, her club has a great picture from their Wednesday meeting, but Diane says, put a like below if you like Rotary as much as I do, or comment below if you're curious as to what Rotary is all about, or share your favorite emoji to describe this picture. Because that creates what's called in social media engagement. And the more engagement our page has, the better it performs, meaning the more it shows up in other people's news feeds, right? And the more it will show up, for example, in search results and in other things like that. So what it really means is when Ed is spending hours and hours on his social media, right? He wants to know that it has the greatest impact possible. Am I right, Ed? Thumbs up if you would agree with that. I mean, you can have 50 people see a post or you can have 250 people. Which would you prefer? Probably 250 people, because at the end of the day, you still had to put the same time into making the post ready and getting it online. So instead of again, posting to 50, let's really get engagement, because engagement will drive up the number of people who are following us, who are engaging with us, and kind of make us basically more popular online. And that's kind of what we want for our social media. All right. So this communication guide in just 6 easy pages provides some really fantastic tips and tricks. And the other cool part is as I know you've been looking at with when I looked at the rest of the workbook, it really falls in line with what Rotary is working on in terms of the action plan overall. Right? Those 4 pillars of impact, reach, engage, and adapt. This falls perfectly in line with that. So really, really helpful resource. And again, I really encourage you to check that out. Sonia, you're probably going to have to send the link again after tonight, now that I've brought it up, because people are going to go, I don't think I remember that. I think it was on the last page of the PALA workbook you got. So I'm going to ask, maybe Sonia could share that afterwards, or maybe even put the link in the chat if you wouldn't mind at some point. Okay. So that's number 5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got through the list. You survived. I appreciate your time and attention. Now, to kind of cap things off, I want to make this actionable. I don't want us to just kind of stop with, okay, he gave me 5 quick tips and resources, but it's done with that. That's the end, right? We want to take the learning and make it actionable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up some breakout rooms. Actually, I think, I don't think I have ability to do that. So Sonia, if you could make me a co-host just while we're chatting about this, then I can get those set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to open some breakout rooms. What I'd like you to do in those small groups in the breakout rooms is identify 3 actions you want to take to help improve your club's public image. 3 things. Yeah, go ahead, Sonia.
You're good to go.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So 3 things. It can be small things. It can be, we just want to get an Instagram account going. It can be, I want to update all of the signage in our town because it's all looking worn out. I went by the baseball diamond that we sponsored the other week and the sign's falling apart. You know what? We need to update that. We need to get that figured out this year. Doesn't have to be social media. It can be that kind of physical stuff. It could be, I want to get some pamphlets dropped off this year about Rotary, and I want them dropped off in different offices around the community. All right. It could be anything you want related to kind of public image. Because I want you to remember too, a kind of a side note, but related to this is we often think of public image as an additional to do, right? More stuff we have to do for the club. But really what public image is all about is amplifying what the club is already doing. It's amplifying the club's voice. So when Sue and the Passport Club raised $5,000 on their latest initiative, public image is the vehicle that takes it from something that we know in the club and we're happy about as a club and we celebrate as a club to something that we celebrate as a community. Right? As a community of district Rotarians, as a community in District 6330, right? In our local towns and communities and everywhere we can, right? So our public image isn't really meant to be extra work in the sense that it's not adding tasks that are unrelated, right? When we think of membership and we think of foundation as being 2 of those kind of pillars and public image as being the 3rd, the funniest thing is that public image really just supports the other 2. So when we get a new member, let's celebrate them, whether it's on social media or taking out an ad or whatever it might be, right? If our club donates a bunch of money to the foundation, if we reach our, trying to think of what it's called, the Every Rotarian every year by donating a certain amount to the foundation, let's celebrate and publicize that, right? Public image isn't meant to really give you more work. It's meant to really publicize the good work that you're already doing. All right. And I think often we leave it off to the side as, oh, well, someone's got to figure out the public image and we got to get a sign up. But really, I want you to think about, there's a reason that we say Rotary, a lot of Rotary is like the best kept service club secret, right? Because we don't get the word out about the amazing things we do. And we're actually doing a detriment to ourselves, because if we're struggling with membership, public image will help with membership. If we're struggling with donations and fundraising and events, public image will help with that as well. So in almost every way, public image is going to amplify our efforts. And that's going to be something that's beneficial to our club. All right. So I want you to take a few minutes to think about 3 actions you want to take to improve your club's image. And then I want you to think about who you're going to ask to help achieve that. Again, I'm not trying to put more on you. I want you to share the load. So think about who in your club, who could you tap into in order to get that work done? You know, one thing Greg Schinkel, again, my boss, always says, he goes, it's not always about, a lot of times in work, we think about the what needs to get done. You actually need to think of who's the right person. Who's the who, the person that's going to get that thing done. Because just putting a what out there is often the problem why things don't happen. But if we identify the right who, we're on the right track. So who can help you with each one of those 3 things that you want to accomplish? All right. And then the third thing, identify resources or support you'll share with that person. It could be some of the stuff I shared with you tonight. It could be other resources that you're familiar with. It could be resources as in members of your own club that are able to help you. Doesn't really matter. All right. Whatever resources or support can help achieve or accomplish those actions, you want to make sure they're in their hands so that they feel empowered and have the resources to do what they need to do. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you, then I'll put you into the group and I want you to share with your group. Share the 3 things you came up with, the person that you've asked to do it, and or not asked to, but you're going to ask to do it, and why. I think that's an important thing that we share. Why you're asking this person, because it helps us frame, well, who's the right person to ask? Well, I asked this person because they're good in social media. I asked this person because, you know, I always know I can count on them to get something done. It helps us realize, are we delegating to the right people? All right. And then again, what are those resources and support that you're going to help them with or provide them with to help them? And that way we can share those resources and get some ideas. So I'm going to give you maybe 2 minutes to kind of start that list. Then you're going to get an invitation to go into your breakout rooms. Keep working on your list if you're not done yet. But then once you're done, I want you to share in your groups. And then when we all come back, I'll leave us with a few minutes when we come back to actually discuss, get some highlights from some of the groups as to what you discussed. If you kind of hit any breakthroughs or epiphanies that you'd like to share with the group. Okay. Can I get thumbs up if that sounds good? All right, fantastic. All right, while you folks start working on your 3 actions, I'm going to set up the breakout rooms and you'll get an invitation to join it in about 2 minutes. And Sonia, Catherine, thank you for popping that link in the chat. That's awesome.
This meeting is...
All right, welcome back, everybody. Letting everybody get back in. All right, I think we're all here, almost here. There we go. So I know there wasn't a super long time to be able to get to really talk through your actions and who you're getting to do it and really see if it's a great plan, but hopefully give you a starting point to start that conversation and give you some food for thought to take with you after today's session. So I'm curious to know, I'd like to take a couple of minutes and ask a few. Oh, I think our breakout rooms got opened again.
Recorded.
So apparently someone thought you needed, someone wanted to boomerang you back and forth. So you got put out there. My apologies. You're back now, safe and sound. We'll try not to let you get sent out again. Sorry about that. So what I'd like to do, again, I know that wasn't a lot of time, but I'd like to take just a couple of minutes, have a few people share what they discussed in their breakout room and maybe how it helped them or what they'd like to, what their action looks like and who they're going to get to do it. So do I have maybe 2 or 3 volunteers I would like to share? Feel free to just unmute yourself and go ahead. If
Hi,
not,
this is Jeff. We're in room 3.
Perfect. Hi, Jeff.
One of the things that we discussed that I think everybody really liked was Fort Gratiot is going to do a quarterly radio spot, and it's free. And they get a 3 to 5 minute interview every quarter. And we thought anytime you could get public image like that for free, it was awesome.
That is a fantastic. Yeah, you're exactly right. Anytime you can get something like free radio, you might as well jump at that. So that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that, Jeff. That's perfect. Can I get a couple other volunteers, maybe 2 more people to share?
I can speak to that, I guess. When it came to actions, I think social media was definitely one for, I think, everybody in the group. But it was something everybody was doing to some degree. Nobody thought they were kind of doing it well.
Okay. Yeah.
In the case of our club, it tended to fall to the youngest Rotarian, as you said, and he's not thrilled with doing it. But even things like our website and that, aren't greatly maintained.
Yep.
So that was a big action. The big problem was, at least for my club, I don't think there is a who in the club at the moment who's going to be good at that. Mm-hmm. So I think the bigger battle is finding that new Rotarian who, loves to do that and take that on. So that may be the specific mission, is to search out that new Rotarian that has that skill set or that desire kind of thing to either learn it or to do it. Signage in our community is one that lacks a bit. It is in places. It is at our kids' camp. It is in the arena. It's in the pool, but there's not a lot in the community, and so that needs some updating, some greater identity. And our other action is we just need to have a committee for public image, because we really don't have it.
Right. That's great, Robert. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. One thing I would throw out there in terms of the technical side, like social media and the website, is I do find clubs get overwhelmed with thinking about, this club, they post 3 times a week and they're updating their website every other week. And, how do we keep up with that? I think there's more power in fewer posts, but bigger engagement than there is in thinking you have to post, 3 times a week or 4 times a week or anything. So, and again, going back to what I said, if you want to put time and effort into social media, make it really work for you. So what I mean by that is, get all of your club members to like the post, to share the post, to comment on the post. And so if you're only doing one post maybe every 2 weeks, but that post is getting lots of engagement, that's arguably more powerful in terms of getting better search results and that sort of thing than posting every single day and every post has sort of 0 likes, 0 engagement. And it's a lot less work for the person that has to do it. So the reason I say that, Robert, is, if that stopgap for a little while until you find maybe that person that's really passionate about it is just, hey, can someone even post every 2 weeks? Just once every 2 weeks. We might even just reshare posts from Rotary International. We're not going to come up with our own. We're going to go to Rotary International's page, share it onto our page. So we don't even have to create it ourselves. It's already going to be a professional image. It's going to be a good caption. We'll add our own little caption to say, hey, check this out from Rotary International. Comment below on your thoughts. It can take a little bit of the burden off this thought that in order to be good social media, it has to be kind of weekly or daily or anything like that. So just a thought for any club that's thinking about how do we even get started? Start small, right? Start with one post every now and then, same with your website, and just go from there. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. And could I maybe get one more person to quickly share what they got out of their group chat?
So we were group 6.
Okay.
And we're going to make sure that our logos, hi Kurt, we're going to make sure that our logos are actually correct and up to date is a big one, as well as are the right colors, that they're used in the right way, as well as we're going to encourage our members to wear their pins everywhere, not just at the Rotary meetings, but to wear them out in the community, wear your shirts, wear your coats, kind of to show the community that we are here. It's free advertising basically for that.
Yeah.
One thing I want to do with my club is update our signage on our Rotary Trail that we have going through town, because right now it's just literally the Rotary wheel that you see every once in a while on the trail. That it's great having the wheel there, but I want to have contact this person, or here's a Rotary project, or just kind of so every couple hundred meters, it has just a little tidbit as they're walking along or skiing or biking that they're seeing a little bit more information. It's not just the Rotary wheel.
Yeah, that's fantastic. A quick tip I would give you there. QR code. So if you have, Rotary Club of Walkerton QR code, people can just literally scan it with their phone, and then you don't have to worry about whether it's a website or whose phone number do we put up there or whose email. QR code takes you right to the website. They don't have to try and type it in. They just turn on their camera. Pretty easy relatively in terms of getting that exposure out there. So that's an idea for you.
Yeah, great idea. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Suzanne. All right. So we just got a couple minutes left, and I don't want to go over time because I know you folks have a little bit more to cover tonight. So I just want to take maybe 2 minutes to see if there are any questions that you folks have about anything we've talked about tonight. Any of the resources that I've shared, social media in general, public image, that you'd like to ask me, or maybe even ask each other and share. Everyone's going, nope, just get me the heck out of here.
If I may.
Yes, I can't see who's talking, but yes, please go ahead.
It's Fred Freeman from Ingersoll.
Okay, hey, Fred.
We were discussing, and one of the problems that my community has is that we're like 14,000 people, but we don't have a newspaper, we don't have a radio station, we don't have any way to get anything out.
Yeah,
it's really, really frustrating. And so everyone talks about social media. Well, that's great, but we have our own Facebook page, so no one goes there, no one looks there except for our own group. It's great to say, put something out there on social media.
Yep.
But whose social media? Whose Facebook? How do you create that monster that everybody wants to look at?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Short of those two that are the nasty ones, the ones that are where the nasty people live,
the trolls,
cowards, as I call them, because they're the ones in there that saying things that they never say to anybody's face.
Yeah, that's
you certainly don't want to involve those creatures.
Yep.
So, is there an answer for this, Kirk?
Yeah, there is actually. So it's my mother-in-law. She lives in Ingersoll. So I'm going to get her to post or follow your page, and I'm going to get her to share everything. That's the answer. Now what I was going to say, Fred, that's a great question. You're right. A lot of clubs go, well, we have a Facebook page, but how do we get it out there? Here's how you get it out there. Sharing. So you have a Facebook account and your club has a page. You can share your club's posts on your page. Hey, check out what my Rotary Club is doing. And then Ashoka does the same thing, and Steve does the same thing, and Sue does the same thing, and Nora does the same thing. And now that one post is on 4 different people's pages or on their accounts. And the cool thing about that is it's not as though you copy and paste it. You're actually sharing it right from the page. So then if people go, oh, well, what's this about? They can actually click and go right to your club's Facebook page. And when they do that, they can then like the page from there, right? But it gets them interacting with the page. So what you really want to do is invite the people who you are friends with on Facebook to like your club's Facebook page. And if those webinars I talked about, it explains how to do those things, how to get people to like your Facebook page. You have to invite them to like the page so that when they like it, they start getting the updates. So Dagmar sees what's going on in the Ingersoll Club, right? That's great. But the other thing, again, is then share your club's content on your own profile. Because if they're not following it yet, you can invite Dagmar to like your page. But if she doesn't accept the like, right, it'll just sit in her invitations. But she might be scrolling one day and see that you shared a post about the Ingersoll Rotary Club's fish fry. So that could be another way she sees it. So invite people to like your club's page, but also share that page's content on your own profile. Make sure you do a caption. Make sure you put something there to be like, hey, this is my Rotary Club, or this is our fish fry fundraiser, buy tickets or something. But that's the other way to get it out. So those are the 2 big ways to do it. Okay.
Can I jump in, Kirk?
Yeah, Sonia, please.
Yeah, so one of the ways that the Mayford Club increased our number of friends on our Facebook page was we did a contest, a couple of contests. Yeah. One was for the Easter egg hunt, color the bunny and put it on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And another one was a different photography type of thing. Put it on our page. We'll put your name on a draw. And so that was very successful.
Yeah. That's right. Awesome. Thank you, Sonia. I think I saw a hand come up, but then went down. Was there either another question or comment? I know we're out of time, so Sonia, I can pass it over to you whenever, but if we just thought if we had maybe one more question, we could take it.
Ken has a question about the QR code. He wants to know, how does that work?
Oh, great question. Yeah. So a QR code basically is a code that represents a website or something else. So I could quickly show you how this works. So I'm going to stop this presentation. So the quickest way to do a QR code, if you're in something like Google Chrome, is I go here, I click, you can see here, for example, on this URL bar, which has the website, right? I can click on this little bar, that's the share bar, right? And I can click create QR code. That's a QR code. What I want you to do is grab your phone and hold your phone up to my screen with your camera on, especially if you have an iPhone, it's going to read that code and take you to this page. Now, it's not going to be able to let you access it because this is my Google account, but that's how a QR code works. This code, you paste it on, you know, in a newsletter, you paste it on a poster or wherever, people can scan it and it takes them to a website or it takes them to a certain resource. So you can do the same thing for your club's website. Okay. So let me switch gears for 1 second. I'm going to go to my Rotary Club's website. Sorry for anyone that was trying to do it, but I'll show you this. So I can do it here. And if you scan this right there, it will take you to strathroyrotary.ca. You open up your camera, hold the thing over it, and it's going to take you to strathroyrotary.ca. You can do that. You can do the link to your Facebook page. You could do the link to whatever, any website that you have, you can do that with. All right. And if you have questions specific to that, if you're really going, yeah, that's not making sense to me, what I'll recommend you do is shoot me an email or text me or something, and I can send you more kind of step-by-step instructions. Or, you know, if you don't use Google Chrome and you still want to know how to do it, I can send you that info. All right. So last thing I'm going to do is just put my contact info in the chat again for everybody. So if you want to copy that down, that's great. All right. And with that, I just want to say thank you so much for your time and attention. I know an hour can be, you know, a long time to listen to someone drone on about something that you may or may not be particularly interested in, but I just want to wish you all the best of luck in your upcoming year as president. Seem like a really great group, so I'm sure our district is in really great hands.
Thank you so much, Kirk.
You're very welcome. Yes. Have a good night, everyone. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye. Okay, now we have our District 6330 business to do. But before we do that, I think we can bid adieu to the president-elects from District 6360, 6380, 7410, and 7080. Rob, Collier, Carmen, Adrian, June, Fred, Todd, Mark, Jim, Sterling, and Sandra. Thank you so much for being part of our experience and for getting to know District 6330 a little bit. Any comments before you go?
Thank you, Sonia, very much for allowing us to participate in your, what do you call it, Pila? Pila?
Pila.
Pila. I'll remember that. Thank you all. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, and good luck with your years.
Thank you. You
very much. Again,
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it so much.
Take care.
Very well done. Very professional.
Thank you. All right. As per our district policies and procedures, you were sent the draft revisions of the 2023-24 policies and procedures 30 days in advance of this particular discussion. A huge thank you to Catherine, who, as our DGN, was responsible for the review and editing of that document, and she did that in partnership with the rest of our team. We haven't received any questions about the document, about our proposed revisions to that document. Is there anything that you feel needs to be clarified before we call a vote for the acceptance of the proposed changes? Catherine, I'm not seeing any hands up. Do you want to take it from here?
Sure, I can do that. So if we don't have any questions or objections, I guess I'm calling for a vote of all in favor of the policies and procedures as submitted. I need someone to make a motion.
So moved.
Bob Thomas and seconded by
Mirage.
Peter Mirage. Any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I think that carries, Sonia.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Uh-oh. I think I need to I need to send a quick message to our district treasurer. Hold on a sec. Okay. So you also received the draft revisions to the district budget, and our treasurer is going to be joining us any moment. Okay, while we're waiting for Harry to join us, one of the other documents that I'd sent to you was our strategic plan. And I just wanted to review with you the strategic, my goals as the district governor for next year. I had outlined them in the binder. Mike, maybe you could tell me when Harry's in. So the things that I wanted to...
Sonia, just let him in.
Oh, okay, great. Has he joined in then? Okay, we're good to go. So as the chair of the finance committee this year, I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to our treasurer, Harry Houston. Thank you, Harry. Harry has worked quite extensively in archiving our financial records. He is new to the treasurer role this year, so he was handed many boxes from our previous treasurer. And he has archived and organized all of those things. And he has organized our working files into a software program. So on a go forward, that is going to be really helpful for the district. As you can see from the multiple year documents that Harry provided to us, COVID has been a really disruptive influence, and the finances over the last few years in the district reflects that. So it was difficult for us to put together some estimates on a go forward basis. Same as the policies and procedures, you received this document 30 days in advance, and but I haven't received any questions from that. Are there any points of clarification that you have for myself and for Harry before we vote on the district budget for next year?
Yes.
Yes.
One question.
Okay.
Is that written in Canadian or US dollars? Years ago, we switched, the budget was in both. We switched in 2002 to Canadian dollars. Is this written in Canadian dollars or US dollars?
Canadian.
So the $48 dues from the US will be less than the $48 because we'll be buying Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
When we do the invoicing, and you saw that for the last couple of years, you saw the dues quoted in Canadian, and then there was a deduction from your invoice to show the U.S. equivalent.
Okay, I mean, that's just a function of when you bill it. RI has a website that does the conversion for you.
Well, we use the RI rate at the month.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the grants chair for 6 years, so I was very well aware of that. I was just curious. I couldn't figure it out, but it affects our club's budgeting too.
Thanks for that question, Bob. Any other questions?
I have a question just about Zoom. Previously, the district had picked up the Zoom accounts for the clubs. Will that be stopped with this new budget?
Thank you very much for that question, Rosemary. I posed the question to all of the district governor-elects in zones 28 and 32. And our district was the only district in North America that actually did provide Zoom to our clubs during COVID. So clubs were very fortunate to have that resource. It is, however, costing us over $700 a year, a month to provide that. And we're seeing a decreased utilization. So at our next AG meeting, we are going to be talking about reducing that number of Zoom licenses to 7 And so we'll see how we manage with that number. And we'll have to figure out how we're going to actually manage that across our district. But we believe that we can get away with that reduced amount. I would suggest that the year following that, we may totally go away from that, but that's certainly Catherine's decision on that. As you know, Rosemary, if you're meeting, if you're just using Zoom for 45 minutes or less, there is no fee for that. So that's certainly helpful. And the other, so, if you're just using it for speakers, that's certainly helpful. And the other thing is that if a club is going to use or purchase a Zoom license on their own, and some clubs already do that, the cost is only $15 a month. So it's not hugely exorbitant.
Okay. Peter Marandra has his hand up.
Hi, Peter Marche, Stratford. Just one question I had when I did review the statements. Is there any provision for the district governor or the district governor-elect to go to the RI conference?
That is part of the costs that are provided to the district governor from Rotary International.
No,
No? Okay.
That's what I mean.
I'm going to clarify that
Okay.
there is a separate budget item for that, for the district governor elect to go to the international convention just before they take over as district governor. So
Mike, you're saying it's covered. So Sonia she's going to Melbourne and is covered by the district. Is that correct?
Sonia would have that opportunity to go, but she has declined that because of some conflicts in her schedule.
But there is provision for the next Rotary year for Catherine should she decide. And that's under the district governor-elect expenses in the detailed section. So there's provision for it for the 23-24 year.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks for clarifying that, Mike. I was thinking of the International Assembly in Florida.
And that's a change in this document. In years past, we would send the current district governor and the district governor-elect and their partners. And we have come to the rationalization that our district is no longer the size that can support sending 4 people to an international convention each year.
Okay.
Well, years ago, only the DGE got to go anyway.
Are there any other questions around our budget? No. Could I ask for a motion to accept this budget?
So moved.
Thank you, Bob. A seconder? Peter, you have your hand up. Are you being the seconder?
Well, it'd be fine. I'll let someone else do it if they'd like to.
Scott Ward has said so. Thank you, Scott. All in favor?
Thank you, Sonia.
Aye.
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 Aye. Harry, it sounds like we are good to go on that one. So the next steps for both of these documents will be to go out to as part of the annual general meeting documents for approval at the annual general meeting. Okay. So as I mentioned previously, I had outlined 4 goals that I wanted to pursue in my year as district governor. One was growing our district, and you won't be surprised by that since we've spent time on Pella 1 talking about membership growth, and certainly it has been a focus over the last many years since our numbers have been dropping. I've also talked about introducing the Youth Volunteer Management Program that I've been asking you for information about in terms of your involvement with youth. I'd like to do an environmental project, so more to come about that. It would be great if we could do something together relating to the environment. And the last one is establishing a visioning team. So the visioning program is is an international program that I understand is in over 100 countries for Rotary. And it is a team of Rotarians that we will be helping them learn how to run the program at the end of April, so that team members can come out to clubs and help clubs establish a strategic plan. So this would give you, as the president, the opportunity to participate with your club by having individuals who can lead the process of creating that strategic plan. We don't provide input, but we would certainly be part of helping you have those conversations within your club. So congratulations to Fenton, who has already put their hand up to be the, thank you, Scott, for wanting to participate in this program. So as soon as we get ourselves prepared, we'll be talking to you about the timing of that. So other clubs who wish to do this, please let me know by email, and we will have that conversation about this resource. And we anticipate that we will be having this resource for many years to come. And research has shown that clubs that have goals and objectives and a strategic plan and know where they're going become vibrant clubs and have more success in bringing members in and keeping the members that you actually have. So along with that, as I mentioned in an email that I sent out to you previously, the district governor team has been spending a lot of time and effort over the last little while in updating our website documents, our content, and the data points within our programs. And we're more confident now in our baseline information as we work towards the strategic plan that I sent you as a draft. We wanted to have a measurable way of telling us that we were making a difference in our efforts. So we start the document off that we sent to you by listing a whole number of data points that we can use to monitor our impact, and we tell you where the sources of that data is. Some of these reflect really positively on the great work that we've been doing in our district. For example, we are the third highest leading club or district in all of Canada for Paul Harris Society members. And we want to continue to trend these indicators on a go-forward basis to identify if they're holding ground. Other indicators inform us that we need to pay some attention. So, for example, Doug Logan told us that our attrition rate was average. That's what they're seeing across North America. So that's pretty consistent with other people's experience. But our attraction rate is not as good as it could be. And so we need to address this to keep Rotary viable in our district. Excuse me. And so the document that I sent to you, did we miss anything from your perspective? Did we miss anything that you felt was crucial on a go forward for the district? Did you have any questions about our plans for a go forward? Did the content make sense to you? You're a very quiet group.
Sonia, it's Peter Rajay. Just to comment quickly, I thought it was very informative. I thought I was very impressed with the amount of information that was put forward. So I think quietness is sometimes not necessarily a bad thing. So I did read all. I was somewhat. We're all overwhelmed by the volume of information coming, but I would say in general, I did take the time to read through your documents, and then I know Catherine made a lot of comments as well, and I really appreciated how thoughtful it was going forward. If there was an issue with it, I would have brought forward, and there really was not.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, Peter. I will assume that people are comfortable with this document, And it's something that we will work with over the next year. I imagine using green, yellow, and red to let us know if we're on the right path or if we're off track and we need to go somewhere else. And it's a living document that we can use over the next few years. I mean, I know Catherine's been a big part of putting this document together, and she will see how we do over the next year and adjust it according to where we're at within the district. And so let's keep an open conversation about how we're doing. We will give you quarterly reports on how the district's doing. Okay. Thank you, everybody, this is the end of our Pella session. I have appreciated getting to know some of you. I really look forward to coming out to your clubs, learning more about what you've been doing and how you've been working and with your communities, and wish you all the best. So with that, our session will be closed.
Are we breaking into breakout rooms for areas?
We are. So for those of you who are in sorry, there's a back loop.
How about if I take it over?
Just thank you, Sonia, for all the work that you've done to prepare us.
No problem. Areas 5, 6, 8, and 9 will be moving into breakout sessions with your AG. Thank you.